So this is something I never thought I would ever say at any E3 at any point in time. But so far, Ubisoft has the best press conference. That was impressively well done. I'm really surprised by how much good they had in there and how much really cool stuff that they had to show. Now, it wasn't amazing, it wasn't excellent, but it was really, really good. And they started off very, very strong by finally revealing Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So fun fact about this game, I've actually known about its existence for well over a year, thanks to knowing the right people, but I didn't know anything about the game or what it was actually going to be like. So the fact that they showed it off, and it's a XCOM tactics style game with Mario and Rabbids, was really surprising to me, especially because of how good it looked. Not just graphically, like they really nailed the aesthetic for everything, but that game just looked fun. The way that they were taking they had the cover mechanics, they had guns, which is still kind of weird for Mario characters to have, but whatever, I'm sure I'll get over it. But they had like the jump mechanics, they were being able to bounce off your allies to get to better positions, using the pipes, like that one moment where Luigi Rabbid went through a pipe, ran and like slide tackled into an enemy and then ran back to Mario and then sprung off of him to land behind that same enemy and then shoot him with the gun all in the same turn. It was just really cool looking, the fact that you can pull off that kind of tactics and how each character has different buffs that they bring to the party, that they have like ability or skill trees that you level up and can put points into. That looked really cool. I also really liked how you're just traveling in this overworld and you see like the two flagpoles indicating where a battle's going to be. So you kind of had like this seamless battle transition rather than being random or on the world or whatever. It's just you see the area and then you go into the battle and it's just part of the world. It's not taking you out of it or transporting you to another part of the game or whatever. It's right there. It looked really cool. I mean, they have Amiibo coming forward too. I have no idea what that's going to do, but that's coming. I really love, one of my favorite parts is they had Miyamoto come out and he was talking with the lead of Ubisoft, and they're holding their fake guns and they're doing like their camera poses and they're talking about it, just how excited they are for this game. And I really love the moment where they showed the lead director, I believe his title, in the audience, and that dude was like tearing up. He was getting emotional because he was there and he actually got to see the audience reaction to his game, which is extremely positive. And he got to see Shigeru Miyamoto on stage talking about his game. That was just I love that moment. This is a really small thing that I love to see, and I really felt for the guy. I mean, if Miyamoto was on stage talking about me, I would lose myself too. But let me tell you, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle looks super legit. I'm a huge fan of tactic style games, especially XCOM. And I was really on board with that one immediately. I didn't know anything about it, but it looks awesome. It's coming out August 29th. The one last thing I want to point out with that game, which is something I do know about it that they didn't mention in the press conference at all, is that the music is being done by Grant Kirkhope. So they got a really solid concept and a really solid team behind it already. So I am absolutely on board. It's coming to the Switch. I'm super excited for that one. After that, they did go into a CG trailer for Assassin's Creed, and they basically just acknowledged the fact that yes, there's another Assassin's Creed coming out this year, and they didn't show any gameplay at that moment, which was fine, because Microsoft already got to show some yesterday, and if they did anything more here, it would have been basically repeating themselves, and they saved an entire 30-minute live demonstration of the actual game after the conference. So if you wanted to see more Assassin's Creed after it was all said and done, then you had a full 30 minutes of the game. That was a really good way to do it since Microsoft already got to do the gameplay reveal. Another smart decision by them. They also got to announce The Crew 2, which is coming in early 2018. I'm not a Crew player by any means, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but I was intrigued by what I saw because it was basically The Crew 2, crew everything! Every kind of vehicle you could possibly think of was somehow represented, whether it was F1 racers, cars, ATV, planes, boats, all kinds of different vehicles, and they were racing against each other at the same time. They had the same kind of pseudo open world thing that I believe that you could just drive around in. It looked cool, just based on the fact that it just had all kinds of different vehicles. It kind of reminded me of that old, a couple generations ago, that game, I think it was ATV versus MX Off-Road Fury or something like that. It was one of those games where it just had like all kinds of different vehicles on planes and they all race each other at the same time. It seemed like kind of reminded me of that, which, yeah, that's fun. It's different. That's fun. I also like that it had what do you call it, rally racing, where there just is no, like, they were basically just like on a hill driving down a forest. There was no road or pathway. They were just driving down into it and trying to get to an endpoint. That's just another cool thing. So I like that they showed a lot of in-game footage. Like, it was definitely in-game because it didn't look that nice, and that's how you can tell. It was getting very montagey, which I understand because they had a lot of different vehicles to show. An actual slice of gameplay, or even a live demonstration or a recorded demonstration of any kind, would have been nice, but I understand why they showed it off the way they did, just because there was a lot to cover. They also then reminded you that South Park Fractured But Whole is still coming this year, October 17th. They gave a date for it. Didn't really show anything more for gameplay because they didn't need to, because they covered all that from last year, and just showed off some more funny cutscenes in that South Park humor that everyone knows and loves. And really, that's all you need to do. After that, they announced one of their first new things, and this is one of the lower points of this conference. There was a game called Transference. And I don't know what it's about because they didn't say. All I can tell you is that Elijah Wood is the creative director about it, and it's about VR. I don't know if it's a VR game or a game about VR or a VR game about VR. Something about you experiencing other people's consciousnesses. But don't worry, it's all recorded. You're totally safe. You're not safe. It's coming in spring, I guess. I feel like the only reason they kind of teased that and spent a little more time on there than I would have liked, but they didn't have actually anything of the game to show. And I feel like that was just them saying, we have Elijah Wood working on a game, huh? He's a celebrity, huh? So I wasn't a huge fan at that point. I mean, the concept seemed cool, the trailer was intriguing. If there's FMV stuff, that'd be awesome. But I would love to see some actual stuff about the game before I get any kind of excitement for that. So that one didn't really do it for me. What was really cool was the announcement right after that, which is an all-new pirate game called Skull and Bones. Basically, they acknowledged the fact that the pirate gameplay from Assassin's Creed 4 was so good. Well, I guess pirate gameplay from Assassin's Creed 3 was good, that they emphasized it more on Assassin's Creed 4. And then they're like, wait, why don't we just focus on the pirate part and just drop the Assassin's Creed pretext? And they did, and that's Skull and Bones. And it did look really, really cool. They showed off some 5v5 pirate ship battles where they were doing some like really tactical things and basically had to pick up coins in the water and try to hold on to so whoever has the most treasure at the end, but you can kill each other and get their treasures, etc. It was all actual gameplay stuff. It was pre-alpha, so still early, but looked good for being pre-alpha. But I really liked how basically each player had their own ship, and rather than just being the captain and kind of commanding the rest of your crew to do the things, kind of like in the Assassin's Creed games, you basically could switch between the different roles of the ship, I guess is what you call it. So at one point, Shonen being the captain, and, they're steering and all that, but then they went up to the crow's nest and being on the lookout and trying to find enemies, and he set up a waypoint or something like that to help find the money, and so then they switch back to the captain, and he starts turning the wheel to get over to that, but then switching forward to some of the cannon crews, and it was just a really cool way to kind of swap between the different roles while the game takes care of the rest and you can really get involved. They showed a little bit of ship customization beforehand. You had health meters, you could see the damage amounts you're doing with every cannon shot. I'm really hoping that you can customize your captain and their appearance, or even your crew itself. They showed being able to board other ships. It seemed like it was just kind of based on random chance and cutscene based, which I get. They just wanted to do ship battles, but that's another thing you can do in there. It was really well done. Very cool. It's not coming out until fall of next year, but conceptually alone, very, very strong. They're doing beta signups and everything for it, and they left by teasing the Kraken. so you can possibly fight monsters as well. So Skull and Bones is definitely one to look out for as well. Just more pirate games. And then they went into the obligatory Just Dance section, announcing Just Dance 2018 by having 3 Sub-Zeros come out and dance. And then some more people danced. And then some famous singer who I don't actually know, but I guess is famous. Whatever. It was short. It was very short. Like, it wasn't a full song by any means. It was maybe only a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But it was just them saying, hey, we got another Just Dance coming to all the consoles. Bye. And that was it. That's all they needed to do. It's kind of like EA in their sports games. Ubisoft has to be like, yes, we have another Just Dance coming. It always sells well, so they have to put it out there. But I do like how short and sweet that one part was. And they didn't have to show off gameplay of it, because really, who cares at this point? Everyone knows how it works. And they quickly moved on. So something they had to do, an obligation, but they did it right. They then announced, surprise, some more South Park stuff, another South Park game, this one coming to phones. Basically taking the concept of the South Park kids playing pretend from like the first game in Fractured Butthole, but it's like everything. So it's like, you know, cops, Native Americans, pigeons, cock magic was another one in there, superheroes, fantasy princesses, just all kinds of different costumes, and they just showed a little bit of gameplay, which basically looked like 2 battles facing each other. I don't know anything about it. If I had to guess, just based on other mobile trends, it's probably going to be a gacha style game where you randomly get a unit or a character, and it's going to be a random costume, and you put it onto your team and you fight other teams. That's my guess. I don't know for sure, but that's another South Park game coming to mobiles. It has all the same South Park kind of cutscenes and humor into it, and really, that's what you want to play South Park games for. So just another cool announcement that they had, followed immediately by another surprisingly cool announcement. And this is a game called Starlink, which was a game where you basically play as a spaceship and you fly around on different planets in a little bit of space, and you shoot at enemies and stuff. But what was completely different about it was they basically had that kind of, that Skylanders amiibo style technology where you had little toys for your ship, but it was modular, so it was like a ship, and it's like, okay, now you have a missile weapon. Now I'm gonna take this toy, now you've got a fire weapon. All right, let's take those off, and now you got extra engines. And it was affecting the game in real time. So you could actually take these toys and build your ship, and it would change what is happening to your ship in the game. It was impressive looking. I actually thought it looked really cool. I mean, the Skylanders amiibo style kind of stuff, those toy games, like, they sell millions. It'll probably end up making Ubisoft a lot of money, and it was just impressive looking. It looked fun and very intriguing. I don't know if I'll actually get into it, because I do fear wanting to spend money on all of the different toy pieces. They did say you can get just actual in-game upgrades as well. You don't need to get the toy pieces, but you know, they're kind of really focusing on the fact that the fun is getting the actual ship and being able to build it and then put it into the game. And then for younger audiences too, I'm sure they would absolutely love that. Whatever it is that they build showing up in the game, that's pretty cool. And that is coming now, not till next year, but that's all going to be on all the consoles too. They only show the Switch version in the trailer, but it is coming to all of the consoles. I don't know if the actual shipbuilding stuff is with every version, because maybe that's why they show the Switch controller. Ooh, I don't know about that. That's something I have to check on, but I don't know. It's worth checking out and keeping an eye on for sure. They also announced an expansion pack coming to Steep, which again was just very brief, just another thing coming for those players. It's basically an expansion pack for the Olympics. So taking the Steep engine and that style of gameplay, but using official Olympic events. Okay, fine. Comes out December 5th. Short and sweet. Great. And then they moved on to Far Cry 5. Everyone knew it was coming, and they finally showed it with some very... It was actual gameplay, but just scripted to shit. You know, it's... I really hate it whenever they do first-person shooter gameplay videos, and like the person playing is like just very, very slow and meticulous of everything. Okay, like it starts him off in the field, he's got a revolver gun, and he like move forward a little bit past a car, and there's like a dead body next to him, so like he very slowly looks down, and it's like, oh man, that's a dead body. slowly look back and forward. Okay, keep taking steps. That's not how people play games. Like, if it's anyone in the same situation, you just been like, dip, 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 whoop, you're dead, dip, 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 dip. And it would have been super fast. I mean, I get why they do that, just so they're emphasizing it, yes, but it's just a little too much, and it's just very fake. But they did show a lot of gameplay mechanics in that Far Cry 5 basically is stealing stuff from Metal Gear Solid 5, in that you're getting a bunch of teammates that you can command and point out actions to wherever you are. So he basically had a sniper lady or something with him, so we like looked up at a water tower and like clicked a button, and she's like, okay, I'll go there and set up. And then she was using her sniper rifle to shoot at cultists. But then they quickly then went into like a sizzle reel of the different companions you can get, which was like a dude with a plane, a dog, Metal Gear Solid 5, and that dog can get guns for you. And then also co-op, which I do like co-op stuff, so I'm excited for the co-op. If it actually works properly, especially if they do like the level up system, because Far Cry 4's wasn't great for that, so I hope Far Cry 5 is like actual full co-op, and then I would actually play that, especially if you can still have your companions with you, even if you're playing co-op. But it was a decent trailer showing off what is new coming in Far Cry 5. So still open world, still lots of guns, but you now have companion characters, and they're still bringing back co-op. And then they ended with their final big announcement, like their biggest surprise, which I thought was going to be Mario and Rabbids, but no, this was an all-new trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2. They're actually doing it! Didn't think they were. I even said at the beginning during my stream, like, I don't think they're going to show any Beyond Good and Evil 2. I don't see it happening. I was very wrong. And they showed off a very beautiful, very well animated CG trailer. And I'm hoping that gave you a lot of hints as to what you can expect from gameplay. Like, I had this monkey character with like a grapple hook hand. I was shooting out and grabbing onto things like pull to him or making him go to that. So him and another lady like used that grapple hook. She had a jetpack and they flew up into like a cop car and like took over the cop car, and then they're escaping on that. It was a really well done animated trailer. Like the actual animation quality was great. And yes, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a thing. It's a prequel to the original game. And they also announced or teased something about spacefaring and potentially going to other planets. It was all CG. A very cool announcement. I love the fact that they haven't completely forgotten about it and they are still working on it. And this is another moment when the director of the game came out on stage and he was just, again, emotional. The fact that he finally got to show this off and got to feel everyone's excitement and energy for it. Now, it was just a CG trailer, though. And there wasn't really much gameplay there, and I feel like that is what's preventing Ubisoft's press conference from being incredible or amazing or awesome. It was just really, really good because I feel like there wasn't quite enough actual gameplay demonstrations or actual gameplay video being shown in a lot of their announcements. But even though this year did not have Aisha Tyler, they still flowed very, very well within their game, and I think they realized that all they really need is just to let their really passionate team members just talk about their game. And that's all they did throughout. And it worked awesome. It worked so well. Like, you could hear how excited they are about their game and why they wanted to show it off. And I applaud them for that. And I hope they continue that trend rather than trying to have a singular host or a whatever celebrity person try to show up as a host and pretend like it matters. But so Ubisoft overall did do a really good job. I was very impressed. Like I said, not quite amazing or awesome, but overall, Ubisoft, B+. They have been the best press conference so far, and I was very, very impressed by them. Man, it's just cool stuff. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle just looked so cool. Skull and Crossbones was cool. Damn, man, that was good stuff. Especially for like how bad they've consistently always been for 6 years, give or take. Like, man, this was a breath of fresh air for them. Very well done, Ubisoft. I'm excited to go down to your booth in the coming days and actually want to try some of the games. Like, if you got Skull and Bones playable there, which they do, I want to try that. I want to try Mario and Rabbids. I'm in. They had a lot of really good stuff. So, as always, let me know what you thought in the comments. Was there anything in there that you were really surprised at? So, especially Mario and Rabbids, because I know everyone like immediately went to rage mode when they heard about that. I wasn't. I was intrigued. I actually kind of like the Rabbids in general, so I wanted to see where they were going for it. And I wasn't expecting this, and I'm quite happy for it. So please let me know what you think in the comments. As always, subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff or more E3 coverage. Don't forget, Sony's press conference is just in a few hours, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be live streaming that, and then I'll get my recap video online afterwards. So thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you in a few hours.